when the stream is up and when I need to leave. So
Holy shit, it's a 1 gig download? Okay. Well, I'll be in a little bit. I need to download CS.
So you're doing play-by-play?
Yeah, I'll do play-by-play. Try my best at it.
Okay.
I'm
Also-
actually not in CS at the moment because
That's
the
fine.
update.
I'm just trying to figure out how to say their fucking names. Yeah. Of all the teams that we get,
I think we're live, by the way, so like right now. Oh no, why CS?
nice!
I should have done this a while ago. Okay, so here we go.
If your internet speeds up, you might even make it for the first round.
Yeah, well, I've got fast internet. It just wasn't downloading. I had
Rips.
to restart. Yeah.
Oh. It's taking them like 10 minutes to choose whether to stay or switch, so...
Oh, who won the knife round?
The team that isn't Covenant.
Oh, nice.
Think they're called like the Haircutters or something?
Yeah, that's right, with the weird names.
Ugh.
Oh no. It's not downloading.
so we've got Covenant versus the Haircutters tonight. Looks like the Haircutters are favoring B side. We do see double setup here as one does go down, but they do pick up the JDubs. And unfortunately, Covenant Hui does go down, and B does go to the T side. Now here we're coming into a retake here. Pistol round, they've got the bomb down now. We're in a 3v4 situation. There's no utilities whatsoever. A little bit of armor on the CT side. BeeJash does take a lot of shots, and he does go down. And now we see GTX go down. And we're finding ourselves in a 2v0 situation as the last Headcutters go down. And the very first round does go to Covenant. Now that was an interesting round to see the T sides just all head straight for B. B was a pretty difficult site to take, and the CTs were positioned quite closely up towards the T area, taking a bit of control of that area. Now, as we go into the second round, we do see some SMG, bit of utilities coming in. Looks like the Haircutters are opting for some utilities. It's a slow start, as we see Haircutters favouring towards the A site. Interstice goes down and BeeJash picks up JTX. Hedwig does take down BeeJash, but unfortunately he gets picked up by Interstice. Now, the T's do have control, but they do have the bomb in their hands. And the last CT finds himself stuck in a 1v3 situation with only a pistol, and he goes down to a nade by Covenant. It's a very fast round, actually. Looks like Haircutters are doing the exact same thing, but looks like they went towards A this time. But unfortunately, looks like the SMGs and utilities were dominating the round and helped Covenant get the second round. And we're going into this round. We see a full buy coming in from Haircutters. And a bit of almost a full buy, but we've got one in UMP. It looks like BJ's rushing into Checkers, trying to take that control early. Looks like Haircutters are playing quite slow right now. That bomb's just kind of sat back there. Probably a very, very smart idea. BJ does retreat back to site. Nothing really going on at mid. Looks like they aren't really favoring for a mid take at all, which I find is a bit interesting because on Cache, if you control mid, you have the option to go into vents and highway. Now we see some utility come out on A, and Interstice gets taken down. BJ goes down as well, and now CTs are coming into rotating over into A. The bomb goes down. The T's are setting up for their post-plant positions. Now we see an interesting boost coming up here, and he does take down Hui. JDubs also takes down Hedwig, but unfortunately he can't clutch in that 1v2 situation. That was a very close round, but looks like for once their A execute has worked for the Haircutters. Now, the Covenant really don't have the economy for this one, so it looks like they're opting for some pistols. So you do see a full buy coming in from T side. It's looking to be a bit more favoured for the T side, but let's see if the Covenant can swing the momentum back in their favour. And once again, we see this slow execute. Did the exact same thing as last round. Maybe looks like it. We see some utilities being executed. JDubs picks up one, but he does get taken down. Now looks like the CTs have pushed into vents and managed to pick up one. It looks like it's going to be a 1v3 situation, but unfortunately he can't clutch it out. But we do see quite a bit of damage that the CTs have taken. And now going to the second round. It's interesting, we haven't actually quite seen an AWP yet. It looks like they do have the economy for it, but we haven't seen an AWP coming in from the CT side. Looks like this is going to be an eco round for the Haircutters, as they do split up towards A and mid. Once again, it is a slow take, and once again, we do see BJ push up into there, pick up one. Now he's spotted one at T main, but do the shots connect through the smoke? It looks like he's retreated back. Now they know there is two coming into A. Fortunately, BJ goes down to Guai Lou. Bond does pick up Hedwig. We see a slow push coming into this. Is same situation happened last time where the last player was stuck in the quad area. And the round does go to Covenant. Looks like Covenant's really dominating this round, but we do see the terrorists buying into this round. This may be a second round that they could pick up for their side. It looks like we're going back into this very default hold for the CTs. 2 towards A, 2 towards B, and 1 at highway. The terrorists are stacking up towards that mid area. Looks like they're trying to execute throughout mid there. And we do see a wall of smoke come out through mid. But unfortunately they are smoked off. Pushing through that smoke. Now they've got the control of half of mid. Playing quite cautiously, kind of seeing if maybe possibly get a pick anywhere. And they do spot out Bon at mid. Interstice coming into highway to help, and he picks up one, he picks up two. And now the CT find themselves a bit stuck at mid. They do pick up Bon, and Hedwig goes down to Interstice, but he does get picked up by Guai. That was great trading going on there at mid. The T's has still got control of that mid, and now they have the option to go both either A or B. Looks like they're heading towards maybe an A split. Does the T realize that BeeJAsh is hidden on the right side though? No, unfortunately he does go down. We deal some damage, but the shots aren't connecting. JDubs picks them up from behind at mid. And now JTX is left in a clutch situation, but does go down to BeeJAsh. Looks like the CTs have managed to force haircutters onto another eco round. They do stack up towards B. We're going to be looking at whether that checkers play can pick up one or two Ts. Fortunately, smoke can't see through the smoke, and the shots aren't really connecting through that spray. Does pick up JTX, however. Guai gets picked up by JDubs over there. They do spot out one at white box at mid. Didn't manage to get the shot onto them. And they're not really pushing out. Bit of a slow push. Shots unfortunately didn't connect, and Bond does pick up one of the haircutters. And we find it in a 2v5 situation. They've only got 2 pistols, no utilities. One has armor, but it is looking to be around for the Covenant side. As another member of haircutters go down, and Hedwig finds himself in a 1v5 situation. And he does go down to JDubs. That was a very clean anti-eco round coming out from Covenant. They didn't manage to lose a single member, and there was still utilities. They still had some utilities left for any retakes or any situations they may have not expected. As we do come into the 8th round. Now we see full buys coming in from both teams. It's going to be an interesting round as we see haircutters. They might be able to get another try at A. Now they're heading up for that same A split. Now we've seen this before where one of the members is sitting back outside of Squeaky. And the members do slowly make their way towards A. Some utility is coming out, and it seems like it's holding the terrorists back from pushing out completely. Now they've had one rotate coming in from there as Ash does pick up Kawaii, but unfortunately fortunately one of the members are traded out by T-side. Now BeeJAsh and Interstice are holding snap. He picks up one, but he does get traded out. Now JDubs and Bon gets taken down. JTX picks up a lovely headshot, and Hui finds himself in a 1v1 situation. The shots have connected, but they're both low, and he gets the shot. Well done to Hui. That was an incredibly intense round. It looks like he does have time for the defuse.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
Now, I think this is the first time we've actually seen an AWP come into play during this game. It's interesting that the CTs haven't opted for an AWP, but maybe it looks like this 5 rifle setup may be working out for them. I guess it might allow them to be much more flexible in terms of movement. They're not working so much around their AWPer. Now we see the AWP getting boosted over there. Maybe he could possibly get this pick onto the CT at white box, but it looks like they are currently favoring A. BeeJAsh does take down JTX, and he's looking to take down another. Unfortunately, no T's seem to peak. Utility is going to be coming out to hold the T's back from pushing A, and Interstice is doing an incredibly good job at staying alive on that A site. No, I find this very slow round. There's a 3v5 situation. They still do have the AWP on hand, but Bond takes down 2, and Hedwig does trade out Interstice, but unfortunately he does get taken down by BJ. Another clean round coming in from Covenant. Only 8 lost 1 player, but they do have the economy to resupply themselves coming into the 10th round. Now, we're seeing the terrorists play actually quite slow, but looks like most of the rounds aren't coming into their favor. Might have to pick up the pace or change it up a little bit coming into this 10th round. Now, we're going to be seeing the terrorists favoring B-side, and Guai picks up the first frag. Unfortunately, they do get smoked out, but he's not afraid. He's going to back off from that smoke, unfortunately, but the other player does push through. Now, Bond's coming through vents, and does he pick up one? He's got the lovely headshot onto Guai. Now, he's going to be throwing some nades out. T's are playing slower again, walking a bit more, and he does pick up that lovely headshot on Bond. Now they do push into B side, but they're aware of the last player on B. Does go down to Hedwig as BJ picks up one of their players from Checkers. Now we see a retake coming in from the CTs. They've got some utilities left over and some Molotov, some incendiaries that could possibly push them out of their positions where they're sitting so comfortably in right now. See a first Molotov come out, and one does get pushed out, and he's approaching towards the left. One does go down, they do pick up a second, but unfortunately gets traded out. The spray through the boxes don't seem to be connecting, and he's wrapping around, and it's a matter of peak. And Interstice does go down. Interstice does pick up the kill on Guai, and he does have enough time for the defuse, and the 10th round does go to Covenant. Looks like the T's are coming in for another mid execute as they execute a wall of smoke, but Covenant does jump on top, and unfortunately the shots aren't connecting. He isn't able to connect. He isn't able to pick up one of the T's. Now we've seen this prior, and it has worked. And now we see if we picks up a kill on JTX, and picks up, and the T's pick up another kill on 2 members, Interstice and Bon. JDubs does spot out Hedwig at B main, but unfortunately one of the members go down at gets traded out at highway. Now we're seeing both members peeking quite quickly. They're working together very well, and they manage to get the bomb down. Now JDubs is unfortunately in a 1v2 situation. He has to retake. Coming in from truck, he's only got 1 flash, and he does pick up the first member, and now he's peeking around boxes, being very wary of where the last member could be. Unfortunately, he does go down to the haircutters, and the haircutters pick up their 2nd round. Covenant looks like they're going to be coming in for an interesting boost on A, but we do see this very simple 2-1-2 default for the CTs, and it seems to be working out for them. They are picking up a lot of these rounds, and a lot of these rounds are swinging in their favor. Fortunately, Guai does go down to Hui at mid. And Interstice has taken some damage from that nade at mid. Now, Hui does pick up, he finds one sneaking around in A main, and he's opted for the AK. I'm still seeing this holding A and B. Carrot retrieves the bomb. He's got the control of mid, and he has the choice of whether to go A or B, as I said. But he does get spotted out. But unfortunately, Bond does get taken down by Carrot. And BJ gets a kill. I believe he was flashed. Once again, we see this default setup as we see the haircutters. Looks like they're favoring towards A at the moment. Good use of utility has held them back from pushing in. BJ does spot out one and he gets two over in Squeaky. Now Interstice does spot out one in main and he picks up one, and does he pick up? He picks up a second and a third. That was an amazing round coming in from Covenant. It was a very clean round. Not much damage was taken at all. Looks like the terrorists really can't break that CT defense. I have to try for that mid. Maybe they seem to be working out. They seem to be getting those kills and getting a lot of damage done on mid. They're getting that control. So it's interesting that they're favoring towards A constantly. Now we see some smoke. We're going to be seeing some smokes maybe executed on A. Some bullets are being. Interstice picks up JTX, but unfortunately is traded out by Hedwig. Bomb does pick up one of the haircutters. Unfortunately, he is traded out. Now BJ's left alone and the bomb is being planted and he does stop the bomb plant. Fortunately, T's weren't aware of his position. Now he does go down to Carrot and Carrot finds himself in a 1v2 situation. He's stuck at Fork and he does go down to JDubs. Once again, it looks like they are unable to break through that CT defense. Terrorists have been forced onto somewhat of an awkward buy as they're pushing into B this time once again. We see some utilities coming out from both teams and some shots being sprayed through the smoke, and Koei does pick up one through that smoke and checkers. Now Hui is left alone on B. He's trying to fall back to the site and he does manage to, but JTX is pushing on fast and he does catch him off guard. Now CTs have been have to retake the site, and looks like they're favoring one towards CT and one towards a flank. Now we see BJ pick one up through the smoke, but unfortunately he does get traded out by JTX. Now Interstice is now in a 1v3 situation, but he does pick up one. Unfortunately, he does take one. Fortunately, he does go down to JTX, and that is the first half, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that is a really strong half for Covenant. Really sorry about the late arrival, but I've had Steam issues at the Wazoo, so finally here.
We all know the feeling.
That's a really strong CT side by Covenant. Cache is a fairly balanced map, so we'll have to see if the CTs now, haircutters, can bring this back.
I think that the Covenant really did have a strong defense on CT, but it'll be interesting to see what they can do on T side. It looks like they're rushing into, well, not rushing, but they're heading towards A main, and they are doing a bit of a slow execute, actually. It's a bit of a change of pace, actually.
The CTs do have a really strong setup right now, so if they hit some nice shots, this could swing the pace of the round.
We do see some utility go out, and JDubs does go down JTX, but Hedwig does pick up Bond. Now Koei picks up BJ, but unfortunately Hedwig goes down to Interstice. Now Interstice is trying to get the shot onto Toxic. He picks up one, but he does get traded out. Now these CTs are playing really aggressively. It's on very low health. I mean, one USB on hand, but the bomb is not down. Fortunately, he does get traded out by Hui, and the first round does go to Covenant.
That was a very, very close pistol round with 5 HP. At one point, I think there was less than 100 HP over 3 players. That could have gone either way.
And the bomb was down, so maybe it would have been smarter not to peek then. He did have the advantage there.
True. Might have been some miscommunication there.
It might have been. It's definitely possible. We've all experienced it at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
You're seeing the CTs play very aggressively towards, and he does pick up one. One goes down to JTX, and now there's some shots being fired at A main. Now Carrot's looking to get the kill, and he does get the headshot onto Interstice. It looks like one of the teasers positioned towards B. Maybe he could possibly get a frag. Hedwig spotted out one at main, but unfortunately.
And that's the third 5-7 kill of the round. The CTs are 3-0.
The pistol shots are on fire.
Yeah.
JDubs does pick up one, and now the CTs are in a retake situation. One does go down now. It's a 1v4 situation. He's planted. Unfortunately, he's getting rushed. And he's getting shot from both sides, but don't think he could have done much in that situation.
Yeah. The bomb went down, so it's the optimal situation for them. It was already a 2v4. One of the players had low HP, so there was not so much hope in that round.
I think it was good that they got the bomb down. Now they've got a little bit of money to spend on the T side. Maybe we'll see some
Looks like
pistols.
an eco coming up. Yep.
Looks like we've got some pistols
And some
coming in.
smokes. We'll
A
have
bit
to
of
see which side.
utility. So this will be an interesting round to see how they're going to be utilizing those utilities to swing this momentum back in their favor. Now we see this 2v1, 2-1-2 default CT setup.
Covenant going for the mid wall smokes. It's a very good eco strategy. I was trying to go for a B split, but there's two players in mid now on highway, and they're just getting shredded trying to make it into vents.
Looks like they do somehow manage.
Yep.
Somehow, but unfortunately, two go down to haircutters. Now it's a 1v4 situation. Unfortunately, he's only got one pistol, and he can only
no.
deal some damage. But unfortunately, the bomb doesn't go down for them.
Yeah, Interstice runs out of ammo at the worst possible moment on site, and both players are just reloading
So it's just
between a rock and a
bad
hard place,
luck.
really. Yeah.
it was a very good effort coming in from Covenant, though. And once again, we see this very awkward buy where there's an SMG on the terrace. Now, it'd be very ideal for that SMG to go in first and lay down some damage for those rifles to pick up. But we do see them splitting up in various directions. Now, Carrot does push into main garage, and he does pick up BJ. As we see Bond kind of prodding towards Squeaky, seeing if they're going to be aggressive and maybe peek him. But looks like CTs are very stacked towards that highway area.
And they've got a pretty good setup for what may come right now. So there's three that can rotate instantly onto A. With the bomb going towards A main, I think we know what the terrorists are going to be heading into.
It's once again, it looks like both teams are favoring some of these slow plays. Some utilities go out, and he does spot out one at Fork, but he does get picked off. Now we see one team checking into Wiki, but he does get taken down by the Covenant's teammates at A main. Now we see one playing aggressive, but unfortunately he does go down to Bon at quad, and now we see Guai and an interesting emoji coming in for a retake on A.
There's a good equalizer kill over there, up on highway.
Definitely.
But the positions are really strong at the moment. The CTs don't have a smoke.
Looks like one does get spot out. And that's a 2v1 situation, and he does get taken down by JDubs. Very
JDubs
unfortunate.
Huge player this round. With a
He
triple
did
kill.
absolutely great. He's been playing very strong. I think it's interesting to kind of look at the scores. Over in Covenant, the scores are actually quite close together, whereas over on Haircutters, they're a bit more widespread. There's a bit more of a difference between some of their top fraggers and the bottom.
Yeah, for sure.
I see them playing very aggressive into A main, but he does get caught out by Hui. Maybe I think Hui has probably picked up on this habit and he's actually caught him out for once this time.
But it does look like the terrorists are heading towards B, so that frag actually did not end up getting played on.
But the important thing on B is for the player to stay alive and allow for his teammates to rotate in. As long as he's got control of that site, they're not able to plant.
And we've already seen the power of the 5-7s. So
It's power of this 5-7s, all right.
yes, exactly. That is a good Molotov from the T's.
He does go down to, and as we see multiple CTs go down, and that's a very quick take for T's.
It's a very safe 4v1 now, and I think Hedwig is just going for Squeaky to save.
It was almost simultaneous, to be honest.
Yeah. With that molly flushing all the CTs out on site, both dead in less than a second. Really good team play by Covenant right there.
Now we're looking at a 1v4 situation. Hedwig's already less than half health. He has some utility, and unfortunately he does get caught out for Bond while he's looking for some any extra frags or damage.
Now that is luck right there. So he gets the dink on one of the two terrorists hunting him and brings him down to 15. So both the terrorists were 15 HP. That was pretty unlucky by him.
Yep, JDubs and Hui were very low, but unfortunately the shots didn't connect and he didn't manage to find a frag. Now we're going into the 21st round. It's 15-5. The haircutters have to find something that's going to let them pull it off. Now the haircutters are in fire.
And JTX gets a free AK and squeaky control. Now the T's have to be wary of that push behind.
And we've seen this repetitiveness throughout multiple rounds where they've been fairly aggressive. So it's interesting that they would also try and counter aggressive with aggressive when it hasn't worked in the past. Maybe a passive would have been a better option. Now we do see JTX pick up BJ, and the last remaining member on A does go down.
Perhaps the rotate was a little too keen.
See JTX pick up one. Does he spot him out? Unfortunately, he doesn't. Now it's a 1v2 situation. He's got to clutch this or the round will go to Covenant and it will be Covenant's game. Now he's rotating in from B. We've got one member on the lurk for Covenant. The bomb is down, time is ticking, and he's only got a pistol in a hand. It's truly a dream. He's got to clutch this out, unfortunately.
This is a worst case scenario as well. And he gets JDubs.
He does pick up JDubs. Now he finds himself in a 1v1 situation, and he's pushing up onto A side, and he's defusing. Is he going to be looking at quad? But unfortunately, he does go down to Covenant, and it is GG.
Very nice shot by Hue, and really good team play coming out from Covenant. They show themselves to be a really solid team up in this this season's Div1 bracket. Looking forward to more games from them.
It's definitely a solid game for the Covenant. They were consistent throughout the whole, both sides, through CT and T side. We've seen them be able to hold both sites efficiently, but also on T side be able to be flexible enough to take both A and B side.
Sure. Well, I think that concludes our first game tonight. Please remember to tune in for our game at 11:30 for the first Division 2 game of the season against Once and Orp only. It'll be a pretty interesting matchup. See you then.